Hi everyone. I thought I'd do a quick live video just talking about my experiences with the fasting mimicking diet that I did last week. So for those of you who don't know what the fasting mimicking diet is, so basically the fasting mimicking diet is a diet that was designed by Professor Valter Longo, and the main focus around his research, he spent years researching the concept around aging. So basically for him, he was fascinated about how could people actually end up aging well, like a bit like Captain Tom, and get to 100 and still, make a significant impact in the world and be well and healthy. And other people couldn't get to 60, and they would be in a really bad disease state. So he spent years researching, trying to understand what were the key things that would make someone live longer. And in his research, he kind of established that there were a couple of things he wanted to understand, I think, from a genetic and a biochemistry perspective, what happens. What are the genes that we turn on? What are the aging genes? And what are the things that turn the genes on? And what are the things that turn them off? And what he found is that, foods that were high in protein, foods that were high in sugar, and especially animal protein, they were the things that would actually turn on our aging genes. So they would accelerate our aging, where the things that would turn the aging gene off would be things like, periodic fasting. So what he realized was that when we fasted, we actually decreased our growth hormone. And as a result, we would actually then sort of slow down that process of aging. So we actually know that, we might have, our genetics, our genes that we've inherited from our family. Mine's pretty much a car crash. My mum's got every autoimmune condition in the book, but we know that that's only the ammunition that's going to load the gun. We know that actually our environment and our diet and our lifestyle choices are the things that's going to be pulling that trigger. So he wanted to understand, so how can we actually slow down the release on that finger on the trigger? And, we know we can do it through diet, we can do it through lifestyle, but how could we use fasting as a way? Because really, going back hundreds of years ago, we didn't have much food. So we would, maybe eat once a day and then look for food. And actually people were healthier from what he kind of looked at. And he wanted to understand how we could achieve that. So he set out to design something called Prolon, which is the fasting mimicking diet. And that is what I did last week. So I don't know about any of you, but I have tried to do various forms of fasting. I've been using time restricted feeding now for over 3 years with great success, and I find it really works for me. I've tried water fast and longer fast, which just does not work for me. It makes me really grumpy, angry. My health crashes. My thyroid goes into complete hysterics, and my adrenals go into overdrive. So it's not something that works for me. And I think for a lot of people with hypothyroidism or Hashimoto's or adrenal insufficiency, fasting can be really challenging. So whilst I read his, Professor Valter Longo's book over a year ago, I was, and did lots of research into it. I was really hesitant, a bit scared of embarking on doing the Prolon diet, the fasting mimicking diet. So I quickly want to just run through what it is, what the benefits are, who it's designed for. So basically, the fasting mimicking diet really is designed for people who, I think they get the most benefit from people who have insulin sensitivity. So maybe you're pre-diabetic or have diabetes, or just have really unstable blood sugar. So you're going to get the most results from doing that. And then other people are people with cardiovascular disease. We also see a really positive results for people with Alzheimer's disease, which again is not surprising because we know it's really closely correlated with blood sugar imbalance. And then we also see benefits for people with high blood pressure. But what's interesting, when they've used the fasting mimicking diet, we not actually, they can get the blood pressure down, but it's not impacting people with low blood pressure. So it doesn't make your blood pressure too low. So I'm just trying to think who else can benefit from it. So there are also people who, people who have really high levels of inflammation, so C-reactive protein. So that can be beneficial as well. So what are the big things that for people to, it's like a no-no if you're breastfeeding, if you're pregnant, if you've got a nut allergy, And then also, if you've got chronic disease, then I would definitely suggest that you work with your GP or practitioner to make sure that you're not running into any risk before, embarking on this diet. So what are the benefits? There are loads of benefits of the FMD. I've written a blog post, which I'll be publishing later today, so you can go and read more around what that is. But basically, the key things just to mention quickly to you now is stem cell regeneration. So basically, this has been a hot topic, especially in the US, where a lot of people are using stem cell therapy as a way to, prevent aging, improve longevity, feel healthier. So stem cells are basically, it's produced in the bone marrow. And as we age, our levels, our stem cells reduce, so that our quantities of stem cells get less. So if you think of your stem cell, it's basically the foundation for what cells are generated from. So, you've got your foundation of your stem cell, and then heart cells will be made from it, muscle cells will be made from it, thyroid cells will be made from it, gut cells will be made from it. So when that pool gets less and less and less as we age, our other cells, which are, most probably exhausted, aren't functioning as well anymore. So if we can get anything to actually help us regenerate these cells, that's a massive plus. So fasting can be really beneficial for helping with stem cell, activation. So it's going to make sure that those stem cells are produced. So that's a really positive thing from my perspective, and that's one of the reasons that I wanted to embark on it. And the second thing is autophagy. So I've spoken about autophagy before, and we only activate autophagy when we're fasting. And again, autophagy, I like to think of it as your sort of system reboot. So it's basically something when you're fasting, your body's kind of clearing out the old, and it's out with the old and in with the new. So it's kind of clearing out all the cellular debris, and then it's going to rebuild your cells to be healthier and stronger. So it's really key benefits, really, from my perspective. There's lots of other benefits, but you can go and read that once my blog post is out. So how does the diet work? So it's 5 days and it's hard. So I found it tough, but only tough in the sense that we're all used to eating all the time. So from my perspective, I kind of found it difficult that I was hungry, but that's only because I'm not used to being that hungry. But the hunger didn't last that long. So once I got over the hunger, it kind of did go away in about 20 minutes and I was fine again. So it doesn't last long and it's not a problem. So you get your food for each day, and it's a plant-based diet. So it's 100% plant-based, and obviously it's got, very low levels of protein in there, and not very high levels of fat either. Your first day is 1,100 calories, and then the subsequent 4 days are 800 calories each. But the benefits of this particular meal replacement plan for me was, one, it wasn't soya-based, which is really important because, one, I'm intolerant to soya, but also if you've got thyroid disease or thyroid disorder, soya is definitely a no-no. And secondly, I think the key thing for me is I wasn't going to be concerned about running into nutrient deficiencies. So how did I feel and what was the impact? I felt brilliant. I felt really good. I had really good levels of energy. My mental clarity was fantastic. My sleep was great. My gut function was really healthy and active, which is something I was a bit concerned about because I know these packages can make you a bit sluggish and slow transit time down a bit, but I didn't experience that. And my mood was great. And I was a bit concerned about inflammation and pain around my thyroid and those kind of symptoms, but I experienced nothing at all. I did have a bit of a surge of inflammation on the second day, but that very quickly subsided and I was back to normal, and I had really good recovery from exercise as well. So I have really enjoyed it, actually. I think, I'll definitely do it again. And I think if you're interested to know whether this is something that you should be thinking about doing, then I highly recommend that you read my blog post and you find out whether this is the right thing for you. There's a little questionnaire on my blog post, which I'll publish later, which you can just click on. It's a link by Prolon that will tell you whether this is suitable for you. But I think for me, working with a practitioner, if you're not sure, definitely if you've got thyroid disease or disorder, it's the hypothyroidism or Hashimoto's or any form of thyroid disorder, I think it's important that you work with a practitioner because, you know, in some instances when people have high levels of reverse T3, then that can actually, it's not a good combination for fasting. So it might actually make your symptoms much worse. So yes, I just wanted to share that all with you today. I have to say I really enjoyed doing the fasting mimicking diet. It was a really good experience for me. It was tough, but I felt great afterwards. And I think it's something that I'll repeat a couple of times to see the impact. I think because the idea is that you really do it once a month for 3 consecutive months to see the benefit over that 3-month period. So it's difficult to tell just from 1 month. But yes, I really hope you found the video helpful. I will be putting the blog post out there. There'll be more information around it. But if you've got any questions, or maybe you've done a fasting similar to this before and you want to share your experiences with me, that'd be great. But I hope you all have a lovely day, and thank you so much for watching. Bye, Sonia. Bye, Claire. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.